back on the Jungle Apocalypse when we were doing that podcast, you told an interesting story, and I think it's kind of gotten lost in the mass amount of information on the internet about Dave Chappelle. And, I think while we're talking about Hollywood, let's talk about what happened to Dave Chappelle.
Well, Dave Chappelle came out of nowhere. Me being a comedian, I had always followed Chappelle. Like, I knew that kid was going to be a star. But he was just another comedian. In the 90s, we saw a black comedian boom, so he was just another one of those. So when he got his show, he got a deal to get a show based on the success from his film. What was it? How High? Was that his film? No,
it's Half Baked.
Half Baked, that's it. He got a TV deal, and nobody expected it to do much. It's just another variety show, and it'll just, be part of regular programming. We'll sell some commercials. However, his show went viral, if we can use that word. He was talking about things, uncomfortable social topics dealing with race, and he was making it humorous. Now, what Chappelle didn't know, and what none of us knew at the time, is that those at the top were preparing us, or needed to prepare us, for a black president. Most of us in this country had never heard of Barack Obama. Because trust me, if I heard that name before, I wouldn't forget it. I had never heard of this guy until we found, this guy's running for president. And as we know, Chappelle, not only did he have skits making fun of a black president, he was just making racial issues. He was bringing these difficult racial issues to the mainstream, and people were starting to have these difficult conversations. And so, this dude made more money for the network and for himself than, I believe his DVD was the best selling in history. Am I correct?
Yeah, it still is.
Okay. The number one selling DVD in history. Okay. Now, his excuse when he was on Oprah was that he was filming a skit or something, and he heard a white person laugh, and he discovered that he was being socially irresponsible, so he just quit. And he had a problem with the contracts. No, what happened was he was told that he had to chill out on certain things. And being a creative person, and especially with an ego like we can imagine his must have been at that time, nobody's going to tell you shit. So he probably told him to kick rocks. And someone scared him into going to Africa. He didn't just go to Africa just because he's crazy. He went there because somebody scared him. And if it was as simple as a contract dispute, then why not just come back to America and get with another network who would be more than happy to match that contract and more? But that hasn't happened because he's been blackballed. He is not to come back. For whatever reason, whatever happened at that meeting, when he told them to kick rocks or whatever he told them, they made sure that he was not going to be able to come back. Oh yeah, he could do little stand-up shows here and there, but he's never going to come back on that level that he was. Because if we heard that he had a show right now, everybody's going to be watching that to see if Dave Chappelle still has it. And exactly. You cannot, the dude is still doing comedy. You can't tell me that he just got sick of it after 2 or 3 seasons. He just got sick of it and he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I see pictures of him doing stand-up popping up all over the internet, and there are these small venues, and just out of nowhere he'll pop in and do his shows. So
yeah, I like I said, on the rumor mill, and I heard this from reliable sources within the industry, if we want to get more nuts and bolts about it, he was warned by Oprah. He was warned by Oprah and a few other black luminaries that he was to chill out. That's who the meeting was with. Like, dude, you need to chill out with all of this racial stuff and they probably couldn't tell him why at that time, but you just need to chill out. He tells them to kick rocks. They scare him to death. He runs to Africa. He comes back to America. And who does he give his first interview with? Oprah. Okay, and which means her rating shot through the roof. So we witnessed a gangster move on Oprah's part because she's the one that walked Obama into the White House in the first place. The Dave Chappelle, and I just saw this too. He has a joke that he does now, and if you get a chance, you could probably find it on YouTube. he has a joke that he puts in this bit where he says, you know, I was when I was doing the Chappelle show, Obama called me. And he does he does Obama's voice. He's like, oh, I'm gonna need you to stop doing these black jokes. And and he's turned it into a skit, but there's a lot of truth in what he's saying.
Day before my son's birthday in 2008, and I got a phone call and it was like, Dave Chappelle wasn't speaking. Dave Chappelle, this is Barack Obama. And I was starstruck. I was actually amazed. But I didn't act like a bitch. I acted like I was expecting a phone call. You ever do this? Hello, Senator. And we exchanged pleasantries. And then he dropped the heavy on me. He was like, listen, Dave, I'm calling for a specific reason. As you know, McCain is gaining on the polls, and Ohio is proving to be one of the most important states in this election. I understand you're an Ohio resident, and I'm going to be honest with you, Dave. We need your help. Now, obviously, I was flabbergasted, but again, I kept my composure. I said, well, I said, Senator, I've been watching you on the news. I appreciate your message, and I'd like to help you. But, I'm a filthy nightclub comedian, and I don't know what a person like me can do to help a person like you. But I respect you, and I'm willing to do whatever it is you'd like me to do if you think that I can help. And he said, Dave, I'm genuinely moved by what you said. Listen, Dave, I need you to stay out of the public eye for a while. I need you to stop saying nigger on television so we can make things change. We got 4 more years to go. 4 more years to go. I tell you what, I did vote for Barack too in Ohio, and I voted at church.